Sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to He's on Fire podcast. We're all still recovering. This is a safe space tonight. Everything that happened, we're gonna vent about. This could be a 2-hour long podcast. It could be 3 hours. I don't really know. We're just gonna play it all by ear. There's no agenda. There's no certain talking points other than the stuff that was brought up by Flex and DeAndre Ayton. We're definitely gonna get into that. Talk a little bit about the game that happened tonight. Not really much for us to preview as far as the draft is concerned, but you know what? It's good to be back here. It's good to see these guys. Looking forward to seeing everybody pop in the comments. Yeah, we're back to the old intro. Unfortunately, no more playoff intro.
No more Mike Breen.
No more Mike Breen. But we're back, and we're gonna talk through this. So thanks for joining in, you guys. He's on Fire podcast.
Urkavici sets, looks up, and it is caught! Dylan Strong! Blitz coming, Matthews, Palmer extending the play, crosses the field, Larry Fitzgerald! There he goes, it's over! It's insane! To the 4-yard line! Crowder looking, throws it, alley-oop, oh! He puts it down! He puts it down! They're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia just out of you. The foot race. They won't get it. 17. The Diamondbacks are world champions.
Man, Jay, you just think back to, what was it, 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago tomorrow? Cardinals trade for Hollywood Brown. You know, the Suns beat the Pelicans and everything seemed to be okay. Man, a few weeks later, Suns are out of the playoffs. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be out for, 6 games because of PED stuff. All the shit that just went down with DeAndre Ayton. And yeah, man. Oh, Vlogs was right all along. We tried to tell him, but you know what? Maybe we should have just listened to Vlogs. We should have just been pissed off and expected this the whole time. Yep. Energy is down. The Ayton feud. We have all this that we really need to go over. Mavericks losing tonight by like 70 points is cool, I guess, but at the same time, holy hell, that should have been us because all of the offense that they ran are things we do. We just got our feet stuck in the mud. But let's start here. Suns fan Randy, thank you. You've become our usual. You're just one of the crew now. You're not even like a guest host. You're just one of the fam. And since you joined first and you're up there, what stage of grief are you in right now?
Right now I'm in the bargaining stage. I'm in the stage of like, you know what, maybe we can fix this. Maybe we can sign DA to a max and maybe we can just get another couple pieces. And I don't know who Flex was talking about as a superstar that wants to come. And
I know exactly who it is. Well, I don't know.
I'm thinking maybe Bradley Beal, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. But yes, I'm in the bargaining stage right now. And then maybe I'll slide over to depression a little bit later on.
JJ, what is your stage of grief right now?
Obviously, I was really disappointed the night of. It was not what I pictured. It definitely wasn't what anybody pictured. And like, if you want to talk about frauds, I think that's Dallas. I think they just caught us on a bad streak. We haven't
Boom shakalaka!
Cohesive games, and we shot ourselves in the foot. No one wanted to push the pressure. There was faults all across the board. Chris Paul, DA, Booker, literally everybody. And it was definitely disappointing and stuff, but after a few days was sitting with it, I like we'll have to get into it later, but I've had a lot of positive thoughts about going forward because in my mind, like like Randy, I know you're shaking your head right now, but remember, this is our second year of competitive basketball in a 10-year span of playoff basketball. We went to the finals one year and we got bounced in the second in an embarrassing loss. Like obviously running it back wasn't the answer, and I'm excited for the offseason, and we'll get into some of the logistics of that later. But after talking to other Suns fans and family members about the whole situation, I'm a little better and stuff. Obviously, it fucking sucks. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just pushing it forward. There's nothing we can do to change the outcome besides pushing narratives. So.
Yeah, go ahead, Randy. I got to bring up somebody in our chat in a minute, and we actually got a special guest that's waiting backstage. I'm going to bring him on in a minute, but go ahead, Randy. What do you got, real quick?
Yo, I just want to know. I know this is not going to help the situation out, or it's not going to ease the pain. But can I get a "I told you so"? Like, can I get I know this is not going to help, but like all this stuff that's coming out with Monty and the beef and him losing the locker room and all this other stuff. Can I get you know what? Maybe I was on to something. A little bit.
I want you to hear my side because I have a theory on that as to why, and then we can debate. And then I would, if the debate is settled in your favor, I will more than happy to give you the "I told you so" 100%.
I'll give you a surface level "I told you so." I think it goes a little deeper.
I'll do this. You were right to a point.
Yeah.
And then one more thing. We got somebody in the chat that I just hate. I hate this man. I am not friends with this man. Freddie Henderson wants to come and join us. He's the number one Lakers fan that I know. We know why he wants to come on. He wants to come on and he wants to brag about this and brag about that. But Freddie, you just need to understand one thing. First off, this is a safe space tonight. This is a very safe, warm, comforting Arizona sports space, and y'all don't understand the pain that we go through. You know what sucks about this the most, Freddie, is the one time an Arizona sports team legitimately looks like the best team through the season, legitimately all the way through, title favors, number one seed, yada yada yada, all that fun stuff, and we just shit the bed. And we don't have any titles to show for it over 56 years. Cardinals are like, what are they at? Are they at 108 years, 111 years, JJ? Something on that. No titles. Yeah. Granted, that's through different cities, Chicago, St. Louis, and whatnot. They moved here in 88, 86, something like that. We don't got any titles to prove except for this bad boy right there, Freddie. And that's what makes it so bad. So you know what? We went through years of not saying shit, no BSing, no trash talking because we were awful. And then everybody wants the one season we're good. Everybody wants to come at us because of other people's injuries. And then we're good the next year. We're even better. And so we start talking trash. And it's like, okay, y'all want to talk trash against us? We're the best team. We're going to go at everybody else. And then we blow it. And it sucks because we have no championships to show for it. Nah, we friends. We're friends. We're friends.
Nah,
we're friends. Just not over the next hour or so. But real quick, I want to introduce the one, the only, ASAP's VP, President, CEO, all that fun stuff. The one, the only, Jay Ness. He's already bumping Suns friend Randy down the second he gets on the stream. Jay Ness, real quick, I really want to get into this DeAndre Ayton Monty stuff, and I want to hear from Randy because this is like the topic now, right? But what level of grief are you at, Jay Ness?
Oh man, you know what's crazy is after game two of how physical they called the end of game two. I said, I don't think they're gonna let us win. I don't think at this point it's gonna come out with us being victorious because of the script. I'm not saying it was scripted, but because of the script. It was set up for another Chris Paul failure. Another 2-0 deficit he lost. And then why not better than Luka with the international connection? We saw what Giannis was able to do with that international connection as well. So I kind of had a feeling.
That's wild.
20 points would have been okay. 15 points, I still would have cried through everything. Being down 40 points.
46, I think, at one point.
Don't say that. Don't say that out loud.
Yeah,
You didn't have to.
you didn't have to add the extra 6. But being down 40 points, I think I would have rather have been at home. I would have rather had not checked into the game. I would have rather had, like, being down 40 points, guys, at home in a playoff game. Your fans are paying $300 a seat minimums.
Nosebleeds.
For the nosebleeds. Those are minimums. And you guys didn't even, y'all weren't hungry at all. Like, that's the worst part. And then you add in the DeAndre Hopkins, the information about that. You see the frustration. And I'll be perfectly honest. I want to say something to our fans. You collectively, we're horrible right now, guys.
Yep, including Mercury.
No, I'm not saying.
Yeah, shit. That just
Did you see that last night?
Hold on.
With
I
Taurasi.
don't think you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm calling out our fan base as Suns fans. Y'all are horrible. Period. Y'all
I
are
agree with that.
horrible.
I agree with
Y'all
that.
are
Yeah.
horrible, and someone needs to say that, because the flip-floppiness that I've seen from our fan base from night and day is just despicable. It's despicable. One moment, Coach, a month and a half ago, JJ, we were over here and we were getting argued about how DeAndre Ayton deserved it and he should have been paid, and we're tripping. We always do this to our players. DeAndre does this. Now they're like, he should have been gone. We messed up. We should have grabbed Luka. We this, that. Our fan base, man, I'm disappointed in that. How we go from Suns and 4 beating up Denver Nugget fans to basically this is where we always are, and like, come on, guys, come on. There's only one champion every year.
Hey, and this is better than anything that we went through in 2020. Let's be real about that. First off, I mean, no sports for 5 months. That was god awful. But this is right there. This is right there worse. I think to piggyback on that, the problem I have is that you can talk about Monty schematics. You can talk about you guys doing this or not doing that or whatnot. But when people are going out and burning jerseys,
that's the part.
I've never understood burning jerseys. First off, I've never understood that. And then people are like, legitimately, they're not just saying this because they're trying to make a joke or something like that. They're saying, blow it up. This team's not good enough. Booker's not good enough. Fire Monty. Fire James Jones. It's all because of James Jones because he didn't draft Halliburton, and it's all because of the
these are the
pick.
same people, Coach, that 2 weeks ago were pissed off that McCaw didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. These are the same people that 2-3 weeks ago were mad that Booker wasn't in the MVP race. These are the same people that were just arguing and screaming and making sure that, ranting and raving about the Coach of the Year. And this is what I'm saying. Like, our fan base, we can't expect greatness out of our team if we can't give greatness to them as ourselves. We can't even predict or rely on our own.
That is. I mean, I think you got to take into account that is just Twitter and overreaction central.
No, man, you just said
fandom is, huh?
You just said it. They burning jerseys.
Yeah, fandom comes in a lot of different. The only time it's okay to burn a jersey is when LeBron pulls his shit and goes to South Beach.
That even wasn't acceptable.
He did it, and he said he was leaving Cleveland in front of kids, in Akron,
and all that money went to charity.
That was before he won the title, JJ.
I don't give a fuck. It was for the kids.
I feel like, though, with the fan aspect of it, is like the reason why we see like some of these fair weather fans or like these flippy floppy fans is like you got to take under consideration like the context of the situation. Like the Suns it wasn't an overnight thing, but it kind of blew up kind of overnight. You see what I'm saying? And so like we got a lot of fans or a lot of people that was like, yo, like the Suns, like, and I was like, I've never seen you, or like I've never like we've never
Where'd you
what I'm
come
saying? Like
from?
all of a sudden everybody's a Suns fan or dusting off their like Dan Marley jerseys or whatever. Then it's just like, okay, I understand why. So that's why when it happened, I was like, okay, like I get it, just because like I said, like overnight we were in the finals, or like, you know what I'm saying, we went from not in the playoffs to in the finals. So some fair weather fans is to be expected, to be honest. So in their defense,
that makes a lot of sense, and you're right, because there was 3 years where we didn't have any fans to speak of. You know what I mean? There was a few of us out there that, you know, they were searching through the dust to find us.
I want to give a shout out to the most ignorant comment so far. Ayton don't want to play for you guys because he knows it's back to the basement. You guys go. Boom. First off, he wanted to come here when we had 19 wins. He wanted to play in Phoenix. Why? Because he played high school there and college. He wanted to. And this leads right in to DeAndre Ayton and Monty Williams and everything that blew up. And since this is my goddamn podcast, I'm going to take the front and center on this one first. Here's what I think is going on. Y'all remember the Jordan documentary, and they talked about how hard it was to play with Jordan because he's just on their ass every practice, right? And then you heard stuff about Kobe. Freddie, you'll know this. You heard stuff about Kobe, and it's hard to play for him because he was on their ass all the time.
They demand greatness.
There's clips coming in. It's like, oh, this is how you guys play when I'm gone. Oh, it's real shit turned up in here, and everybody's quiet. Phil Jackson's quiet. It's like, no, y'all motherfuckers are gonna learn to play today. Y'all gonna do this and that. No coach is saying anything. It is all Kobe, right? There's been a history with Chris Paul too. He was hard to work with at the Clippers towards the end, right? That's when Blake got injured and he wasn't there, went out, and there was all this drama with Blake and him. Go to Houston. Different with James Harden. James Harden is a different entity altogether, but same kind of thing. Hard to work with. Didn't get along with them. You didn't hear that really in OKC because they were all a bunch of young dudes outside of like Dennis Schroeder, basically, right? So the point I'm getting at is Chris Paul and Book. How much did they ride DeAndre Ayton's ass last year over and over and over, right? In my opinion, Chris Paul and Devin Booker have that Kobe MJ gene. Not saying they're as talented. Don't get words twisted. They just have that gene where they demand greatness and they want to practice, and that's all they kind of think about. Hard to work with. They have all the X's and O's down. They dotted every single I and crossed all the T's and know what is what. DeAndre Ayton had an article that just came out like 2 days ago. Worst fucking timing for this article to ever come out. And it said that DeAndre Ayton likes to play video games a lot. And that's how he connects with his family across seas, Bahamas, wherever it is. Yeah.
Specifically, he said he gets average of 2 hours of sleep a day.
It goes to 5 a.m., 4 or 5 a.m., gets 2 hours of sleep a day, and goes to practice. And that's what he's working with. First off, that's no way to treat your body as a professional athlete. Just first off. I understand. Like, I didn't even do that when I was 22, 23 years old in college, yo. I didn't stay up till 5 a.m. I stayed up till 3. I stayed up till 2. You know what I'm saying? But I still got at least 5 or 6 hours, and I wasn't a professional athlete. So I get it, but I don't get it all at the same time. So now we have Chris Paul and Devin Booker bitching and moaning at this dude and in his ear. You guys saw it on every game. Go do this, go do that. And they're in his ear, in his ear, in his ear. He got frustrated at the beginning. Remember the beginning of last season? Those first 6 games? Think about his body language then, all right? And my personal opinion, when Monty says, you quit on us, I 100% believe in Monty. 100%. I don't believe in the 23-year-old. I don't believe in the 23-year-old that did the same thing to the University of Arizona Wildcats, thank God. They were the top-ranked team, and they go to the first 4 games at the Battle of Atlantis. Lost every game. Got bounced in the second round of the tournament. And he was supposed to be the number 1 pick, and they relied on him. Got popped for PEDs.
And let me add to that part, because before you go from there, Ayton that was something we saw in that tournament that I think we seen here too. And I think throughout the year, during the season, he's had the games of, okay, yeah, I just got done playing, Valanciunas, and he frustrated me, but next week I got Sacramento. So we don't get to see that wave of frustration, so to speak.
On the same player. Yeah.
Right. And let's be perfectly freaking honest here. He had his hands full with Valanciunas. Valanciunas was whooping his tail, and he was superly physical against him. And Ayton doesn't like that. Ayton does not like physical players. Anybody that plays physical gets Ayton.
And this goes to my next problem. The next problem with Ayton, not only his work ethic at least questioned right now. We're questioning his work ethic. That's not debatable. You question if he's not taking care of his body, you can question his work ethic 100%. The next thing I got to look at is his aggressiveness and lack of aggressiveness. How many times did I specifically point out, dude could not even post up a De'Aaron Fox. He couldn't post up Draymond Green. He couldn't post up smaller dudes and wouldn't take over. He would get pushed around by Valanciunas. He'd get pushed around in both the Toronto games against those big dudes. Chris Boucher, who's only 6'9".
Boucher should not be doing that to him.
Mitchell Robinson would push him around left and right. A guy that averaged 8 and 8.
What's the youngster in New York that comes
Mitchell
off the
Robinson?
Bench? No,
Mitchell
the
Robinson.
one that comes off the bench for Mitchell Robinson. He's kind of swole. He's a younger dude.
Thomas. No.
Maybe not Nerlens Noel.
No,
not
Nerlens.
Obi Toppin.
No,
not
the
Taj
other
Gibson.
one.
Not
He's the young dude.
Julius Randle.
No,
not
it's
Julius.
I know he's a light skinned dude. He's
Kevin
kind of
Knox.
No,
I don't know.
JJ's on it. But yes, he tears Ayton up. He tears him apart.
So the point that I'm trying to get at, and I'm going to pass this around to everybody. The point that I'm trying to get at is, I think he doesn't show the passion or drive or however you want to word it for the game of basketball, like a Devin Booker and Chris Paul. And at the end of the day, the reason he didn't get the fucking ball passed to him is because he didn't show that same goddamn amount of energy and work ethic that those guys had. Right. So they're go out there busting their ass, going in, eating right, taking care of their bodies, doing all this shit. And in the game, it's like, no, I'm not going to pass to your ass. Your ass wasn't doing anything in practice. You wasn't doing this. You wasn't paying attention in that. I'm not going to do that. That happens in basketball. That happens in football. That shit happens.
Yes, it does.
And that's what I think happened. And ultimately, it boiled up to that. That's my personal opinion. I'm speculating. I'm trying to read between the lines. That's all I got. I'm going to put my shit on mute. I'm going to hit this pen. And Randy, all you did was shake your head, and I can't wait to hear your response.
Yeah,
so
take it away, I wholeheartedly disagree with that. Just because I feel like, obviously, coach, and I feel like if you've played basketball, if you've been a part of a team before, then I feel like you're taking away the human aspect of it, of like just being with teammates, playing with people that don't give you the ball, or just like whatever. But I just feel like, yes, I get what you're saying in the work ethic aspect of it, or he's not doing whatever, or he's not taking care of his body as much as Devin Booker or Chris Paul or whatever the case may be. But do I think that necessarily correlates to like his production on the floor or like what's asked of him? Because realistically, he's the third or fourth option. Like he's like getting the ball after Mikal Bridges most of the time. So it's just like, how are you going to sit up here and blame DA? Like, oh, DA doesn't do this and he doesn't show effort. It's like, dog, if you're a center and I'm setting screens and grabbing boards and getting bumped around all day long, and then you don't reward me. And then like you were saying with Valanciunas, even though, yes, he was being physical with him, but if you go back and watch that series, he was beating Valanciunas down the court every single time. And Chris Paul didn't feed him not once. You see what I'm saying? And then it's like, then you take a step back and you say, okay, Monty says he wants Book. Like these are the two guys that are supposed to be shooting first, like Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And if Chris Paul is averaging 5-7 turnovers a night and D Book is right behind him and they're not shooting efficient, it's like, at what point does DeAndre Ayton not have like at what point does DeAndre Ayton, especially, and then you're gonna ride me? And then on top of that, like you're playing absolutely terrible, and then you're gonna ride me and tell me what I'm not doing? Get out of my face. Like, and I understand DeAndre Ayton's, because we've all been a part of a team. We all know what it's like when, you know what I'm saying, it goes to like the finger pointing, especially when you start losing And all of this didn't really start happening. And this is what I was telling you with the Monty situation and like how like all this started to snowball, or like how winning just cured a lot of like strategic stuff that Monty was doing wrong or whatever. But it's just like, I'm not gonna listen to you telling me you're riding me if you're playing like ass, like especially if you're hurt or if you're playing whatever. Like Chris Paul had 7 turnovers one night. D-Book was right behind him with 5, and then they're shooting like 5 for 16. It's just like, but you have the audacity to walk up to my face and tell me to go do something. Like, get out of my face.
I get
like,
that.
What are you talking about?
I completely agree with you, and I think you could also be right too. Freddie has a point here. Nah, you got to demand it. There were times when Book would be doubled in the corner in this Maverick series, and he would pass it out to Ayton at the elbow, at the free throw line elbow, and he would be guarded by like Randy Bullock or something like that, and Ayton would just turn and try to pass somewhere. He wouldn't try to do anything either. So when he did get the opportunities, he wasn't taking advantage of them. For example, Randy. There was one play last year, maybe it would have been this year. You're going to know exactly what it was I'm talking about. Mikhail always does it on the free throw where they inbound it, and he does the fake pass, and then he drives it in. DeAndre Ayton did that one time, and Book came out post-game, and he was like, I've been trying to get him to do that forever. That's what I want him to do this and do that. And that is kind of like another little hint into the reality where they're trying to tell him to do something, and he doesn't do it.
Well, let's also take into account DeAndre Ayton started playing basketball late in his life. He didn't start like a lot of these other guys. Hey, Randy, I know you laugh at this, but hear me out. Hear me out.
Go ahead.
So, and this goes along with what he's kind of getting at, is that they're showing him other ways to emphasize on his personal talents, on what he is good at. How many times have we ain't never all been in the same room, watched the game, but I guarantee that all 4 of us have repeatedly said, watching the Suns play basketball, why does he not turn and dunk the basketball? Why does he not turn and shove it down his throat?
Tradition like no other.
Why is he falling away from the rim 5 feet away from the basket? Why is he shooting a hook with someone that's 6'8" guarding him? And we don't have to sit in the same room and watch the game. I know we've all said it. So there's things that I don't even have to hear it from Chris Paul or Booker or Monty Williams or whoever's down there helping him or coaching him through practice. I know there's things that they're telling him, the next game, don't do this, do this. And he's not doing that, and he's doing this. Now, that goes back to what we just read with this article talking about you get 2 hours of sleep and you play video games. How much film are you watching? How much time are you spending watching the plays that Chris Paul and Monty and Booker are telling you that you did this wrong, you should have done this better?
Okay, so I feel like with that being said, though, I feel like it's easy for DeAndre Ayton to be the punching bag at the end of the day. Like, you know what I'm saying?
True.
I feel like we've been punching.
Valid.
It's always DA's fault. And I get what you're saying in the sense of why are you doing this and why are you not dunking the ball? I get that. But let's not sit up here and pretend that playoff DA and regular season DA aren't two totally different. Whenever we've needed DA to step up, he's never not really been there. Except for against the Mavericks.
Except
like,
for
against the Lakers, he stepped up. Against Valanciunas,
but did he, guys? But did he?
Yes, he was balling.
I don't think so.
He played well in all of these games. He didn't play bad in Dallas.
He
had a bad game 7.
He didn't play bad against the Clippers.
He didn't outplay Valanciunas. I don't know if anybody can legitimately say that. He played well.
No.
He did not outplay.
But no, and to Randy, what you're saying here, I'm not attacking because you're right. It is very easy to beat up on Ayton. It is very easy to beat up on Ayton in these situations. And I'm not trying to attack Ayton. That was just the subject we were on.
Yeah.
And do keep in mind,
I'm not an Ayton defender. I don't think he's a max. I'm not sitting up here. So don't think that I'm one of the Ayton lovers. Like, I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So go ahead.
Keeping it real, man.
Yeah, and keep in mind, man, we're not talking about number 13 pick. We're talking about number 1 overall. We're talking about a franchise-changing pick. We're talking about a franchise-changing pick.
Don't start with me.
Right, that is looking for a max contract. That's the part that pissed me off. That's the part about this playoff that pissed me off the most. You wanted a max contract. You've been screaming and bitching and moaning and causing all this ruckus, and you ain't stepped. Your numbers didn't improve from last year's. You should have went enormously through this. And in fact, in Game 7, when we were down 20, you should have said, "Give me the ball every play."
Demanded that shit.
Because you want that money.
But how can you say that if, like Coach just said, if we have Chris Paul and we have Devin Booker on a team that both think like Kobe and Jordan, or like they have that competitiveness where it's like, I want to be the one to put this on our shoulders. Like at the end of the day, like it's easy to punch on DA, but those are the guys that's like, all right, like when we lose, I'm really looking at them. So I feel like, why do we always look at
what
DA?
happened with Kobe?
Like, why
and
do we
Shaq?
never? I mean, they broke up. But
Why?
do we look at? But I'm just saying,
why?
like,
Why?
if the Bulls would have lost, will we look at Pippen? Will we look at some of the other players, or are we going to look at Jordan and see what he did?
We're gonna
Especially
look at
if-
Jordan in that aspect,
Exactly.
definitely.
I get what you're saying. Like you're saying, like DA should be like, give me the ball, but it's like you're going to take the ball away from Jordan. You're going to take the ball away from Book. We're going to take the ball away from Book.
But
Do we
let me-
really want Ayton?
But let me
So-
ask you a question, Randy.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you one question. Book has made himself through his career.
Love you, Sonia. Thank you, by the way. Thanks for just stopping in. We appreciate you.
Definitely. Book is who he is. Book is from the ground up. Book created who he is. I think the ticket was laid on Ayton. And I think that Ayton's been spoon-fed, if you ask me. And this is why I'm going at Ayton in this particular situation. Ayton has been spoon-fed so far.
Yes.
He has
Took money to go to college, by the way.
right
They all did.
allegations. He's
They all
He got
did.
caught, though. He got
but
caught,
hey,
though.
but
Zion
he
got
got
caught,
caught. He got caught and was cool with it. Ayton got caught, was cool with it. He was like, "Yeah, I messed up." Most people are like, "Nah, but yeah." Anyway, we didn't even go down that road. But looking at this, bro, like Ayton's been spoon-fed this whole time. Everyone's like, leave Ayton alone. Don't go on Ayton. Give him time to progress. Give him time to grow. Give him time for this. Give him time for that. Devin Booker did all that when we were losing out. Devin Booker has
As the face of the franchise, by the way.
right. And at some point, being the number 1 overall pick, I know you got Devin there, but at some point, if the ship is sinking, bro, we didn't bring you here for no reason. When are you gonna say I deserve max money?
I get that. I get the max money. I get it. I get like they all have a hand in it, but I'm not gonna give more of DA a hand and give Devin Booker and Chris Paul a pat. Devin Booker had 2 points in the third quarter. I was like, turning your damn whistle. Turning your damn whistle for real. Like, what
we
are
haven't
you
even
doing?
got on them yet.
In
We
a
gonna
game
move on to
7,
them.
you have 2 points. You were 0 for 7, but we're sitting up here talking about DA. Like, oh yeah, DA is like he should have been more aggressive. Like, it's now we want to deep dive and have this like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we?
But Devin Booker didn't go on the sideline yelling at Monty either, and that's the difference right now.
That's what I was saying in the sense of okay, and I feel like it's starting to come out now with the Monty stuff, or just like with the locker room stuff in general. I think it got to a point to where everybody started calling out Monty on what the strategy was. Like if they were literally switching until they got Chris Paul on defense, and then they just ISO'd and took Chris Paul to the rack every single time. And if you don't think, and I get it, we're Suns fans, we're programmed to see like, all right, like whatever Monty says is law. It's like we can't think for whatever reason. It's like, why the hell didn't we zone up? Why don't we go 3-2? Why are we? Chris Paul can switch on a switch. You do know that, right? Like on defense, if they're trying to switch,
why
you can
didn't we
switch back.
sit Chris?
Like
why are we
letting them go? Like why are we letting?
Before we get on that, I want to hear from JJ. He's been quiet down there. We're about to get on Chris Paul. We're about to leave DA, and we're gonna revisit the stuff that Flex said and trade rumors, sign and trade, all that stuff. I want to revisit it. JJ, you've heard all this. Your turn, please.
So on this podcast, and even before we put this podcast together, everybody was on DA's ass about his consistency, his butterfingers, him keeping the ball down low, not taking it up strongly. We've all had those conversations and stuff. And when Chris finally landed here, with the coaching staff that we had implemented to improve the big man situation for DA. I mean, like in the sense, you are right. Yeah, he was sort of spoon fed, but like that's a given. Really, it just sort of happened that way. But like I have always been hard on DA because like when me growing up playing competitive basketball, I was the big man. I was nowhere near the level of what Da has played in his career and his life and stuff. But I get the gist of everything that's going on around those 2 or 3 positions that he rotates around. And like I've always been hard on him, especially those first 2 years, last year and the year before, the bubble year and the finals run. But he's improved every year, and he's shown that. And I feel like I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I don't know how he is like in the Suns practice facility. I don't know how he is around the rest of the team, because we've talked about this before. Some of the pictures that we see from Booker's house with all them playing poker and them just hanging out. Aiden's never in those photos.
I said this last year.
So like,
sitting on the floor with the Mercury game and everything. He was never there.
Yeah. So I wonder, even before going into this year, that there was like a chemistry issue. They're a team. They're there to do a job and stuff. And I feel like that's sort of what Aiden was doing. And I'm actually going to kind of give him a little bit of a break here, because I feel like he does get treated like the redheaded stepchild. Like
very fair.
Yeah. Like even when his dominant performance in the playoffs last year, that 82% field goal percentage, one of the craziest true shooting percentages that we've seen in a long time in a playoff run. I feel like that, even with us losing the finals, I'm all like, that's going to carry over. That gave him the confidence to keep this momentum going. And this is when we start to see this is when Aiden breaks that glass ceiling that we thought he stopped at, and he can further push it forward. But with this season, like it just seemed like on a game-to-game basis, they kept on stripping DA of opportunities and good looks and stuff, even though at the same time Aiden was developing his game throughout the season, but with the lack of touches and stuff. So fast forward to now in the playoffs, in the first round, DA was by far the most consistent guy like in that series. Chris Paul was so-and-so for most of that series. Book got hurt in game 2. Role players were shooting atrocious. DA was the one that overall won us that series. Yeah, Chris Paul had that amazing game 5, game 6, like whatever it was. And Chris kind of got everything back together, even though we still weren't shooting the best and stuff. He did rally everybody, but DA from game 1 was the most consistent guy. I'm like, he held it down. And so, and I felt like in going into round 2, why we were so confident is because DA was able to handle Valanciunas. Yeah, he got worked in a couple of games, but I like in round 1, I'll give DA the upper hand. Like he had more good games, better games than Valanciunas. Valanciunas disappeared in a lot of those games. Valanciunas, he was only really like a first half sort of dominant, and he kind of disappeared in the second half when it was more leaning towards BI and CJ McCollum to get something going. DA was fully consistent throughout that first round. Going to the second, this is where my beef with the team comes in. Yeah, like Booker, Booker and Chris Paul, they are who they are. Booker had to really work up to where he's at today, and he wants perfection, and I 100% get that. And like he's had to deal with a lot of shit, a lot of awful years with awful teammates, and finally he has something working for him, and he wants things to go well. All right, he gets a pass, not necessarily for the performance that he put on, but with Chris too, like what I was worried about going into this next season is not is leaning more heavy on Chris going forward. He was 36 at the time, or 37, whatever, and I didn't want that dependency to kill us. But like, you know, when he went out, we were still pretty good, whatever. And when when we saw Chris like fucking up, it was just eye opening. It's kind of like what I was concerned about, even at the trade deadline. Like we were asking for like some scoring guard, like even Eric Gordon, whoever who was available. But you know, James Jones didn't make the move, and I thought, you know, like we're treading towards one of the best records in Suns history at the time. You know, let's just keep pushing it forward. I think we'll be all right. And considering how we're bulldozing through the league, I mean, like, why change things? You know, so I'm not necessarily gonna kill him for that. But for Monty, like, Monty has a favoritism and ego with him when it comes.
So we acknowledge it now. We acknowledge it. We acknowledge
Randy,
the
calm
ego,
down. All right, I'm not giving you this shit. So, like, for Monty to fully cut DA out of any offensive system and rotation, like overall rotation through that whole series was absolute bullshit. Like, DA had a mismatch over 80% of the time. Maxi Keebler can't keep his feet planted down at the post. DA, couple shrugs, that's a bucket every time. But
that's the thing though, JJ. How many times did we see DA get the freaking ball in that high post and freeze, almost as if he didn't know what to do? And he would bring the ball down to his waist. His favorite place is holding the ball waist level. And I don't know what the hell it is. It's instinctive. As soon as he gets the ball in a high post, he grabs it, brings the ball to his waist, and then he does whatever he's going to do from there.
I'm gonna get into that. Like, I think, like the few times DA did get the opportunities to do something, it kind of came out of nowhere in a sense of he wasn't getting the touches, he wasn't getting the looks. Anytime he got the ball, he wasn't in the spots. Like let's keep it a buck. He was like,
but it's not
25%.
But it's not like he was aggressive doing it. It's not like when there's a double team and he's got a smaller guy, he's sealing his man and going to make a big drop step and move or something like that. So it's not like when he had the opportunities, he fully went at it. Last year was a different DA than we saw this year. And it started with the damn contract situation. I don't think they wanted to give it to him because of this and the video games and, you know, whatever. But if they had have done it, would we have gotten a better DA, or would he have slacked even more too? I think that's a legitimate question to ask. Do you guys think so? Is that a legitimate question? If DA got his bag, if DA got his bag, would he have been even more lazy, like he was at the University of Arizona?
And I'm gonna say yes. The dude told us his favorite thing and his dream would just be sitting at home playing video games all day. And you guys, 10 years ago, Monty does not make adjustments when we need to. Okay, we're going to get into that. But 10 years ago, that wouldn't have scared me so much. But today, that scares me. That is a realistic thing that we need to look at in real life. If somebody says that, that is something we really need to look at.
I mean, look, and my last thing on DA, actually, I kind of want to get into, well, Amit's about to join us. I want to get into the possible trade stuff afterwards when Amit joins. But, like, the fact that you just said that his favorite thing to do is gaming and it's not play basketball, I don't want that.
That's scary.
I think I understand it. I understand separating your life. I completely do. Separate your work from job, from life, and I get that. But when this is the NBA, and this is what millions of other people want, I don't accept that answer. And I think that's a poor answer for a professional athlete. Randy.
But I feel like we're underestimating, or like we're trying to lump that. We're taking what he does in his off time. We're trying to lump that into like his work ethic or his intensity, or like
we do that. But
like,
we do that with Chris Paul. We do that with these guys with Tom Brady. We do that with all these players. Why can't we do it with him?
I mean, but I feel like every fan base wants their players to live, breathe, whatever their team is. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, let's be realistic. And I feel like if you question like DA's like basketball mind, like DA has a good IQ, and I feel like a lot of
Right.
people don't know that. If you
Right,
go back
he's
and
very
watch
smart.
his
100% does.
ESPN like interview, his film session, like that surprised the hell out of me because I was like, damn, like DA actually knows what he's talking about, or like he knows what like he could actually break down film and stuff like that. So it's just like I don't think that even if he does like not have the work ethic, I still think that, like I said, like he like I don't know, we've seen it year after year. He's applied and added stuff to his game. So it's not like he's just absolutely like a couch potato.
But
You know
can
what
I
mean?
say this, Randy? Can I say this?
Go ahead.
If he was the fifth highest paid player on our
Okay.
team, I'd be okay with that. As entering that top 2 to 3 player range, it's not okay. Because if that's
Not
what
for
you want to
number one
do,
pick.
that's fine. That's
Number one
fine if
pick.
that's what right. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But don't ask me for the max. Take a little bit underneath that so we can go out there and get a player that wants to put 100% into it and live breathing.
Because now you have to oversaturate that aspect of your team too, because your star player lacks that, and you have to bring in extra guys that do that.
But I feel like though, like all right, but you're not taking into consideration like okay, I'm not really a fan of not giving him the max of the off the court or like because he's not committed or whatever. I'm more so not a fan of giving him the max in the sense of like where he fits schematically with the team and what we ask of him. Like doesn't
Okay.
match up with the max contract.
Fair.
With
You see
what
what I'm
you're
saying?
trying to do
I
with
can
it.
phrase
Yeah,
that
like,
better.
you're-
I can phrase that better. DA is a max player. I just don't know if it's for this team.
Right. Okay.
So
And that makes sense. Both of you guys are making a good point with that because that makes total sense for what we use him for versus what other players getting the max are used for.
Yeah, because I feel like
And,
we fall victim to that. Like when we're losing, it's like, well, DA should do more. It's just like, well, we don't ask DA for a lot when we're winning. Now all of a sudden when we lose, damn, like we need 25 and 15 out of DA all of a sudden. But when Chris Paul takes the game over and goes God mode, or when Devin Booker decides to show up, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, DA, you can fall back with your little 8 rebounds tonight. Like you did a good job. So it's just like, come on, man, we got to keep the consistency.
let me
Right.
add a one last thing to my side of the DA thing. Like with Monty doing what he did, I think for 2 years now he kind of showed that he doesn't like implementing a big in the system in a sense when it comes to scoring, because obviously Chris Paul isn't implementing DA as much as he should, and I think all of us can kind of agree with that. Booker doesn't even look his way. A lot of it is just, feed the inside, and if he gets it, he gets it. And like with DA getting killed, yeah, Randy, you're 100% right, because we bitched about rebounding, but DA is the only one down there with 4 other guys trying to grab a rebound, and all the other Suns players are back. And like we killed him over the rebounds, and it's just like, well, he's the only one trying because everyone's ball watching. Mikal is just looking at it. Like
Nobody's
Mikal
boxing out. Yeah.
Mikal and Jay easily can average 8 to 10 rebounds, like a game if they.
But they
actually
shouldn't
try.
be able to. With DA being as big as he is, and him boxing out as well as he does, to me DA is one of the best box outers in the league. He box out so freaking well. If you can do all that, you should be able. That's why he gets 10 rebounds like a blink of the eye.
Yeah.
That's automatic.
But with him boxing out so well, it sets up other people to grab the ball. So I feel like
Agreed.
that's not something we're not
Yeah.
taking under consideration. Like Chris Paul,
Because everyone is
Booker will
back,
have, like,
and then when the ball goes over and a DA has everybody else sealed, now we have like these the opposing wings rushing in, grabbing these balls, and it gives them a second, third chance. It's like
It's all around. It's all around. DeAndre Ayton was not DeAndre Ayton of last year. He was not. The numbers prove it, top to bottom, everything. He was not that guy. He did not show up like he did last year. Okay,
No.
he didn't. Nobody can argue that. You can just go look at the tape and look at the games we won and why we won, and it was because of the things he did. With that said, he showed huge development on the offensive side. Huge development.
And
then
aggression in some areas.
and aggression, and then his shot was completely gone. When Monty says you quit on us, I believe Monty because of his X amount of years of basketball more than DeAndre Ayton has, and because Monty's the one that came in here and turned this thing around. From day one, from game one, when we beat the Mavericks in 2019 on that first game, it was a complete culture change, a flip. What did DeAndre Ayton do? Get busted for PEDs. And that's a fact.
Hey, man. Look, hey, JJ, agree or disagree? Booker, I'm not even gonna say Booker. Chris Paul.
Let's go to Chris Paul, yeah.
Would have Ayton in the offense a lot more if DeAndre finished at the rim a lot better. If you look at Chris Paul and every single team he's been on, that center has always had 3 to 5 dunks a game, easy.
Tyson Chandler, David West, who is a jump shooter, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin. Go look at what he did just with Clint Capella in the short time.
You need him to finish better than 82%?
No, Randy, don't do that to me. That's not what I said. I didn't say better.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm looking up.
No, you said that he wants to finish better, but it's like last year in the playoffs he had 82%, and like I get it. Like this year wasn't like.
So let me adjust my verbiage.
He was consistent.
Let me adjust my verbiage. I don't mean finish better.
Okay.
I mean finish more aggressively, because that is what changes the pick and roll. That is what.
And that starts with his rolling. How many times did I say that? He was the worst rolling big man I've ever seen. He never did it with purpose. He never did it in space.
Fuck this.
He was the worst rolling big man ever. I don't care that he finished like Tim Duncan half the time. I personally think they wanted him to finish like Tim Duncan so he wouldn't get injured. So that he could have a longer career and play like Tim Duncan and under the rim. But that doesn't revert the fact that his picks were awful. His rolls were horrible. He never got in position. He was an awful roller to the basket. And for him to not get the ball from Chris Paul when Chris Paul's the one that has the track record, I think that itself says a lot. That's things you can work on, but it never seemed to improve. Chris Paul time. We've talked enough about DeAndre Ayton. One more thing. Make it quick.
Okay. Randy, or not Randy. Jay Ness, to answer your question, I'll answer your question with a question. Is it 2 points regardless? Regardless if he slams it down or he puts it in, because before you say anything, like I just looked it up. DA is ranked 6 upon centers in true shooting at 67%.
No, and that's what Randy was saying a moment ago, and I said it's not about his percentage and his shooting percentage. And to your point, yes, it is 2 points either way. However, we and you both know that what's not included in that shooting percentage is the amount of times that he doesn't get to shoot the ball because he loses it. Me and you both know that what's not included in that is the times that he doesn't roll hard, where all he needed to do was roll hard and he had a free lane to the basket.
If you're a big though, if you're a big and you're grabbing boards, you're doing all these things to deter shots, and you're not getting the ball. You think you're gonna roll hard every single time? Let's be real. We've all played on the team before. Like not gonna go. I'm not gonna roll every single time if I know Chris Paul is about to go under, snake the dribble and shoot it, or if I know Steve Book is trying to shoot. Like,
but Randy, if you're controlling the ball, you gave it to him at least 3 times before you said, you know what? Fuck, I ain't doing it no more. He ain't rolling hard enough, and now you taking it. And I think that's what Chris and that's what we see. We definitely see that from Devin more than anybody.
100%. But Devin throws the most terrible lobs like I've ever seen. Like for somebody with so much touch, like I don't understand like how this man just throws like the most wildest lobs to
probably because he's thrown it up to dudes like a DeAndre Jordan that can go a little higher.
He hasn't decided if he wants to pass or shoot yet. That's why.
My last thing, just to throw it out. DA is 21st upon centers and turnovers. So
you know what I'm saying?
Upon centers.
He can shoot it. It might go in. It's just
look, man. you don't hear coaches throw out you quit on us. You don't hear
Sure.
players coming out saying, you know, I love video games more than anything. I only get 2 hours of sleep. You're the number one pick. I just think there's a lot of bad blood at this point, and it is probably time to move on. And DeAndre Ayton probably will. No, you don't think so? You don't think it's time
He's
to move
23
on?
years old.
I
He's 23 years old.
agree.
He's still a top 5 center. We don't have 3 or 4 other centers in the league where we can just say, you know what? If we replace DeAndre with this guy, if we replace DeAndre with this guy, we don't have that.
But you're thinking of like his, in my opinion, you're thinking of what his potential could be and all that, as opposed to what the Suns are asking him to do.
See, but that's the thing, and that's why what Randy was saying earlier, you know, was very true. Like, we can sit here and we can jump on DeAndre as much as we have, you know, this show, and we can beat him up as much as we want and make him the scapegoat in this. But at the end of the day, guys, it's not like we can just turn around and improve at that position and by getting rid of DA. It's not night and day like that. There's maybe 2 guys in the league that we can bring in and first of all keep the same team we have even and be successful. And then outside of the other, you know, that are better than DeAndre, you got to change our team around. We can't bring in Bid in here. Even if they would give us a bid, we can't bring in Bid to Phoenix and win a championship like this. Like, this team would have to change around a little bit. Same thing with Jokic. I mean, we would have to change around a little bit. So I think with the way we play, and DeAndre's our best fit naturally for this team, even though he has a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about one Christopher Emmanuel Paul, the point guard. In my opinion, when I was watching this game, I legit didn't want to see Chris Paul play basketball in a Suns uniform again. Looking back on everything now and looking back on it, we all know what he can bring to the table and what he will still probably be able to do next year. But relying on him for a playoff run would be a grave, grave mistake. I don't want to do that. And in my opinion, I said this on Twitter, I don't think he should be looked at as any more than Derek Fisher in his prime.
What?
That's disrespectful. I feel like he's better.
Moving forward in the playoffs,
yeah,
Derek
sure.
Fisher was a great spot-up shooter, brought the ball up. He could do a few things, hit a great game winner, by the way. But he was that guy that would constantly kill people, and he can get you out of a rut here or there. I don't want to depend on Chris Paul moving forward.
Yeah.
And if we depend on a Chris Paul, we got burned 2 years in a row. How many times did the Clippers get burned? The Rockets get burned. I'm not getting burned like that again by Chris Paul. He can do some things, don't get me wrong, but he's always getting old, and he's always getting old. he's always getting older. He's always getting hurt, excuse me. And he shouldn't be dependent on any more than a prime Derek Fisher and their playoff runs. Who'd you have? You had Kobe and you had Shaq. Well, you got Booker, and apparently you're either going to get a better Ayton or we're getting a better player back in a sign and trade. Those are the players we need to focus on, and then you go to your next guys. Your Glenn Rice, your Rick Fox, your Derek Fisher.
Damn.
I mean, we started off just on a bad foot. Like, we didn't realize it in the moment, but it's like our offense is really predicated around a 37-year-old man. Like, we were doomed. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And then we have stubborn-ass Monty over there that's like, oh, we still, even when he's hurt, we're still going to run through a 37-year-old man. And then
he's going to stand in the corner and just stand there.
And if you don't think that DeAndre Ayton said something about that, like if Chris Paul is riding me and he's hurt, he has 7 turnovers, and then Monty's like, yo, like, this is the plan. We're going to ride with Chris. And DA knows that he's hurt. He's not even looking at the rim. Like, it's just like, yo, the audacity. But anyways, I feel like
I get that point 100%. I'm like, right there with you on that one for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know, man, because I feel like I'm not too mad at Chris Paul just because he's won us too many games for us to like really be mad, and I feel like it's not more Chris Paul's fault. It's more of a schematically, like, we could have did a better job at hiding him. Like, realistically, like, there's a lot of people in the NBA that don't play a lick of defense. They get hidden. Like, Steph Curry is another one. There's there's Trae Young and stuff like that. Like,
Luka.
There's a lot of point guards or whatever the case may be that don't play defense. And it's just like, we just got exposed because Jason Kidd literally took a note out of Chris Paul's book, like, oh, you want to expose Luka? Bet. Let me expose your old ass. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then it looked like every time down, like, we seen Chris Paul in some sort of action where they was doing something, getting him out of, you know what I'm saying, off his point, and then they was getting a bucket. And it was just like, at what point are we going to zone up? At what point? Do you think Chris Paul even said, Monty, like, yo, because I'm pretty, he said the same thing last year in the finals. He's like, yo, like, we need to build a wall. We need to do something else. And then, I don't know if you guys read up on it too, but I don't, or like the Brickley, like Dan Brickley or Bickley, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like, he has like the Bickley blast this morning. He said that CP3 and Monty had beef. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, it's not even just DeAndre.
I didn't hear any of that.
But CP3 and Monty.
Go check it out. Go check it out.
But CP3 and Monty they got that coach brotherly love beef that they've always they had beef in New Orleans. They beefed it a few times. But I think that you're saying a lot of right things, Randy. And I think that two of the biggest things that I looked at going into this season, and then we all even had conversations about it a few times together, leading up to the All-Star, to the trade deadline. We didn't have no shooter, like no dog. Outside of Booker, we had no dog. McCall was really a spot-up shooter. He couldn't really take anybody off the dribble. He was kind of one-dimensional towards the end of the year. Cam Johnson really fizzled out after his big game when Booker was out after that big game. He didn't do shit after that. Jay Crowder, I don't know if this dude was hurt. I think Jay Crowder was going through it mentally the whole latter half of the season. I don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter. He was talking about having a baby. He was talking about this. He was talking about that. He was talking about so many other things but basketball. Like, there was just so many other dynamics going on, and we didn't have a dog. If you look at Dallas, you got Brunson, you got Dinwiddie. You know what I'm saying? You look, I can point around to all the different playoff teams, and they got a dog somewhere. And I think that's what Landry Shamet, if we really want to talk about, people letting us down, Landry Shamet was a flat tire. That was a horrible pickup.
Shouldn't you go, in my opinion, wouldn't it be better served because of the need and what it was that we were missing from Chris Paul to really bang on Campaign for a minute first?
No,
Campaign, I think, terrible.
But Campaign is an energy guy. We know what we're going to get with Campaign. Campaign's going to turn the ball over. He's going to get you some good buckets. No, it's dead and simple. You know you're going to get 3 turnovers with Cam, but you're going to have 8 energy points and maybe a couple assists. But the thing about Cam, he didn't get that. You know one thing, Randy, you guys, Monty did make one adjustment.
Good point.
He sat his ass down.
Sat down Cam.
And we won game 5. And Randy Shamet balled out.
He should have sat down both CPs, dude. Like, if we're keeping that.
And Aaron Holiday,
or just limit.
There you go.
Or just limit like Chris Paul's minutes. Like, don't have him out there 35 minutes. Like,
if you're gonna play him, play him in spot minutes. Play him in the first couple minutes of the first. Play him in the latter half of the second. Play him
when
in the
Luka
beginning
goes
of the
out,
third.
Put in Chris Paul.
Man, that's exactly what I was saying.
There's just so many other things, man. I really would have preferred Biyombo to play alongside of DeAndre Ayton.
I wanted a double big lineup. I wanted it so bad, but we never did it.
It was nice in the little moment we did it with New Orleans. I liked it with JaVale and whatever, but I would have loved it with Biyombo and DeAndre in this Dallas series.
Can I ask you?
It would have worked. It would have worked.
I just want to ask you guys one question because this is something that I feel like I've been going back and forth with. Do you guys really feel that Dallas beat us or we beat ourselves? Because I feel like we definitely quit on each other. Like realistically, Dallas probably beat us maybe one game. Like really, if you sit down and really go back and like they really only like the refs cooked us maybe was it game 3 and that was probably the only game they really
Yeah.
beat us. I feel like
3 and
in my
4.
heart,
Game 4 with 42 free throws.
yeah. So
3 and 4.
I don't know.
Because 3 was the close one, right? 3 was the close one that they kept calling.
Don't remind
bullshit.
me. The one that
And
I
then-
went to.
Yeah, 3 was
Yeah.
the one that you're at. Game 4 was the dog shit one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Game
that's what it was.
Game 4 was like super dog shit. No, you're right. I think you're right, Randy. They beat us.
One game, really, in my opinion.
But this is the last thing I'm gonna close out my statement on my CP3. You guys all made some very, very good points. The biggest point that I took from this season, why the hell are we paying you $40 million?
Yo, I'm not gonna find the drop, but he's on fire.
That is the biggest. That is the biggest thing Game 7 showed me. Why the fuck are we paying you $40 million? Why the hell are we struggling on trade deadlines
Look,
looking
man,
for money
that
to go
dude-
get somebody?
If that dude wants a championship, prove it right now. And
Right
take
now.
five to 8 mil next year. Facts.
I won't even go that far. We're at 40. Give me 16. Give me 18.
15. What was it? What was Fitz making? Fitz was making like 10 mil a year. Go to 10. Be like
Dude,
Fitz.
There's no way that you can
Dude,
make. You can sit here
He
and have
has
$40
to
million a
restructure.
year.
He has to restructure if he
That's
wants.
why we got Campaign. That's why we got Landry Shamet. That's why we got Aaron Holiday. That's why we got those guys and not somebody like Jordan Clarkson or freaking, you know what I mean? That's why
Or
we got
Eric
these
Gordon,
type of
yeah.
guys. Or
Yeah.
Eric Gordon. We don't have the cap space because it's going to these guys.
So, Okay, so
Landry
this is-
Shamet can go. Campaign. can
Landry
go.
Shamet
Go
can
ahead.
go. He can go. Jay Crowder can go. Dario Saric
hey,
can go.
hey,
I'm
slow
curious to
down.
see Dario Saric. I want to see Dario Saric, but I don't have high hopes coming off of an ACL injury as a big man that was already slow and gumpy to begin with.
Jay Crowder can come off the bench.
Yes.
Cam
Jay Crowder
Johnson's about
can
that
go
time.
100. Yep.
Yeah.
It's about that
But
time
if
for
we
Cam
need to
Johnson
clear
started anyway.
space for a big name, those guys can go.
Cam Johnson's untouchable.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
I'm more on Michaela's untouchable than Cam.
No, Mikhail is beyond
Nah.
untouchable. Beyond Mikhail's defense play. We don't get to talk about that. Cam Johnson's
Okay.
untouchable though. Cam Johnson's untouchable.
Would you rather have Alec Burks or would you rather have Cam Johnson?
Cam Johnson all day,
Yeah.
all day.
Can you
I don't
pull
care.
up like
I don't
like
care
a
the
no-
stats.
like a
I don't care
notepad
nothing.
on your screen, Evan? Maybe we can like break this down.
Like, there's-
Untouchable, touchable. What needs
There's
to
nothing
change.
about Alec Burks that will change.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
Cam
what was
Johnson.
what was the thing that we needed? We needed wings that could go out and make a play for themselves too. We
Yeah,
needed
Torrey
a guy
Craig can
like
kinda-
like
Mess them up.
like
Torrey Craig can go.
like a Gary Trent Jr., like a Norman Powell, a
Gary
player like
Trent,
that.
oh.
Alec Burks can go out and get his own and shoot. Like I don't know if anybody remembers Aaron Aflalo from back in the day. Like I loved Aaron Aflalo. I thought he was like a perfect wing type of role player and whatnot.
I don't think it's
Cam-
necessarily the wings that we need. I think we need Campaign to be exit out. Like Campaign does so good for 2 minutes.
No, he doesn't.
For 2 minutes. For 2 minutes, he does so good. His
Not
first
even.
like 3 shots, Randy. Come on.
Not
man.
even. His first, I'm gonna tell you exactly what his first 3 shots
Campaign
are,
was
man.
awful this
He's
year.
gonna drive
We're
left. He's
keeping
gonna
it
blow the left. JaVale McGee's gonna dunk it back in, and that's literally his first 3
I was-
shots.
yeah.
That's literally
Campaign's been
all he
awful
does.
this year.
I think
If
I think
JaVale
we need to
McGee's
go
not on the
after-
floor with him, he's trash.
We need a guy that can command the offense. I don't know what people were talking about with Ricky Rubio being back because
We can get
everybody was
him.
everybody
He's
was slacking
unrestricted.
off of Ricky Rubio, and if it wasn't
Ricky
for
was nice.
and if it wasn't for an offensive rebound by I think it was Mikhail that tipped it out, Devin Booker would have never had this moment where he's laying on the ground in the bubble, because Ricky Rubio goes in with some dog shit type of move against a double team. He was airballing shots. Ricky Rubio as a backup, I don't think is it because we need another guy to create his own shot and put the ball in the hole. Why not look instead of Ricky Rubio? Why not look at a guy in Patty Mills, a guy that can go out there, score it, and run the offense?
2-0.
Was under Monty Williams when Monty was in San Antonio. By the way,
Tyus
has a
Jones.
championship pedigree.
See, Tyus play with it. I don't want nobody that played with us already.
Hell no. That ship has done sailed.
Yeah. I don't want no
I'm-
one. I don't want
massive
anybody else-
improvement from him.
I can.
Nope.
I'll go Gary Harris maybe instead of Landry Shamet. I'll
He's
take those.
I'll take Gary.
take-
All over Landry.
Over Landry all day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all day long,
day.
boy.
All
All
day.
day long.
All day. Now let me ask you guys this:
We need to
Duncan
put
Robinson
up
is
like
coming
a note.
available.
Duncan.
He's gonna be
Duncan.
expensive.
I'll
I
take
don't
Duncan
think so.
Robinson. We need a shooter. We need a killer knockdown shooter that you have to be afraid of. I mean, Cam
Yeah.
Johnson kind of turned into that, but people still didn't respect it.
That's because
But-
I don't know what we want from Cam. I don't know what we want from him. I don't know if we want him to be a spot up shooter. I don't know if we want him to be an off the dribble, attack
that's
the
the
rim
problem.
guy. Like,
They got
Look,
Nurkic out there.
If we got a guy like Patty Mills that could go in and still
need to
be
pull up,
fast
like,
and
a
still do his
notepad
thing,
or
Patty
something.
Mills is averaging 12 points this year, 40% from three in 29 minutes, by the way. Probably wouldn't have to play that much. Shot 40% from field goal, 40% from three, 81 from the free throw line. Didn't go very much. That's a guy I would love. I would love to get Gary Harris as a backup too. Go and get me that. But this
JaMychal Green, Bobby
Thibault.
Portis is out there.
Thibault would be a perfect setup for us.
Nah, if this dude were to get released by his team, get Lou Dort.
Oh,
Hey.
Dort is-
Oh my
Hey,
God, that would be.
I have a
sexy.
trade proposal. All right.
All right.
We're completely off the rails here. He's on
We
fire.
yeah okay.
Trades now.
What's starting with me? We'll make our rounds. We'll go to like Randy and then we'll work up. Okay, so we get Gary Trent, Pascal Siakam, with an exchange of DA, campaign, and Landry Shamet, and with a pick.
We're giving up a pick
Yeah.
and DA, Shamit, and Payne, and then we get Siakam.
And Gary
Siakam
Trent.
and Gary, we would be
I don't
fleecing
like that.
on them. I would take that in a second.
I
We'd be
wouldn't take that.
fleecing them.
I'm cashing out, dude. Like on that. I think
Man.
we can get Pascal on a 1-on-1 for sure. But
I would like to move Jay Crowder and pick and maybe a couple role players and try to get Jeremy Grant out
Jeremy
here.
Grant. I'm not 100%. Like I saw him when he was in Denver in the bubble. I was like, God damn, this dude's about to be something. And then he just kind of. I mean, he's in Detroit doing his thing up there. You know. I don't know.
structure in Detroit.
I don't know, but I want to take him and be like, yes, that's the one. I want to do that, but I don't know. I almost would prefer Siakam just because of his championship pedigree already, and he's already done it and been there, scored.
I
40
just don't
points
want
in
to get a DA for him.
So like
So,
if we're
okay,
if
well,
we're
let's talk-
targeting
This all the other moves boil down to what's going to happen with DA. I want to share with you guys who I think it's going to be, and who I think what's his name Flex is talking about.
Kevin
So I'm
Durant.
gonna pull up my screen here. You guys tell me, and Flex specifically mentioned this number, $35 million, right? He specifically
Beal.
said, which one is $35 million?
Bradley Beal.
Which player here makes $35 million? I can't really see the green right there, so
Bradley.
can't do that.
Beal.
I do not want Bradley Beal.
Now, why would you not want
I don't know if I
Bradley
want him
Beal?
either.
A guy that can score 28 points a game.
We got a guy that can score 28 points a game.
It's not
Why?
enough.
What's wrong
It's-
with having two?
It's not enough ball to go around.
Thank you.
It's not enough ball to go
Chris
around.
Paul's not going to be that scorer
We're
guy.
already
That's the
fighting with
point
each
of
other.
this.
Chris can just facilitate.
We're already
That's
But you guys-
fighting with each other. We're already
Right. Like Randy, I don't know if you see it like I see it. Because when the first thing I think about when I think Bradley Beal and Booker is Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
No.
You can't.
No.
do
Bradley
that,
Beal is
bro.
so much better than that.
No.
Russell Westbrook has
Hold
a
on. I'm not
mid-range
talking
game.
about. I'm not talking about their games. I'm talking about the shot attempts. And do you remember how hard it was for them to get in rhythm?
They
I
had
mean,
a
yeah,
shitty
there's definitely
coach
going
in
to
the
be a
city.
growing period, but Bradley Beal, like his bag is so deep, man.
So is Books. I mean, it's not like I'm saying that neither one of them are going to
Exactly.
struggle in, but together, it was
I don't know.
hard.
Unless
you watch-
CP3 is only shooting 4 times a game.
You just need to look at team. You're looking at the guard situation. Take the guard situation out. You got two.
We
dudes
need
that
a
can go out.
guard.
You got two dudes that can go out and get buckets, right? Fact. Everybody agree with that
Yeah.
statement. Two dudes that can.
Who?
Okay. Look at New Orleans.
Who's guarding
Bi
James?
and CJ it works just fine for them.
That's all I gotta
Go-
say. Who's guarding Giannis?
I mean,
Damn,
we're gonna
you
get
didn't
to
have
the
to say that
thing
out loud.
eventually.
You didn't have to say that out loud. We all know that. We all know that.
Well, they
You
just
didn't
got
have to
bounced, so
say
we
it.
don't need to worry about the Bucks right now because they're probably going to be changing a lot of
Nah,
things.
I have
around.
nightmares about Giannis. For
Yo,
real.
this-
every
this
time
let-
there's a trade, that's all I think about. Well, who's gonna guard Giannis?
Who
May
can?
Go ahead.
Here's my substitute, my replacement,
Okay.
Thomas Bryant.
Now you're talking. Now that might work. You
Look
get
at Thomas Bryant before the injury.
No, Thomas
13
is
points,
nice.
13 points, 9 rebounds, 24 years old.
Mhm.
His shooting percentage, 61, 58, 64. He shoots about two threes a game, shoots 42% when he was healthy.
No, I like Thomas.
Okay.
If you put him with Bradley, with Booker, that's not a bad pick. And he's way more physical than DA.
He's more physical. He's just as tall, and he's 250 and not 225. So now we got a bigger body. Block shots at a bigger clip. And sometimes things just click and sometimes they don't. This guy could fit right in and mold with everybody, and it could work. And he could do a lot of the same things that DA did. He could. Who's to say
And
he
he
can't?
does finish around the rim.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm looking
He's a
at
big guy, man.
who can take Jay Crowder's spot and potentially cause all right, let's face the fact. Like Chris Paul's gonna get hurt in the playoffs again. So that's a fact. We know that. So we need somebody to take
Needs to eat
unless
a fucking steak.
Bradley Beal. Then we got two guys that can bring it up in the backcourt.
then it's cool. But I'm thinking of like who can take Jay Crowder because I'm about sick of 1 for 8 Jay Crowder. Like, I get it, you bring
Thank you.
defense,
Yeah.
but like I'm tired of it. So probably let's go. Nicholas Batum is a free agent. I'd rather go there or Jermichael Green.
Batum would be nice. I ain't gonna lie.
So if you're thinking free agent, because we still got another year or so with Jay Crowder, right? 2 years in the book.
We have one.
Another year.
Him
Okay.
and Dario Saric are on expiring contracts right now, are very tradable. So we could, and those two contracts right there. There's your Jeremy Grant, by the way. So now we just got
Right.
Bradley Beal and Jeremy Grant. Like that's possible.
Now, no, but I do like the Batum thing as a free agent signing. That would be a nice pickup. But because I've been thinking about the Jay Crowder thing too. I've said it for so long. We need a real power forward. And go ahead.
Montrezl Harrell.
That's what I said last year. No, hey, everybody says
he looks
everybody
so
gives me that
good on
same
the roster.
response. Everybody give me that same response. But
He plays
Montreal,
hard, man.
he plays
He plays
hard.
hard.
He runs up and down the floor. He'll be down the floor just as fast or faster than some of the guards.
Yep.
I mean, that's why we have McGee. Like JaVale
But that's off the
McGee is
bench.
like
Trez can actually close out.
not starting. We're going Trez starting.
I
So
would
I guess
start
we're just
Trez.
we're
If
gonna go
starting
away
Jay,
from DA. We're going away
No,
from DA. now.
we're
Completely.
moving
No,
away from Jay
this is
Crowder.
with DA going.
Either way,
DA is gone.
Saric would take
Yeah.
over that backup spot, and he would be probably the first sub. Remember, he was arguably the 6th man of the year when he was healthy too. By the way,
Right. But I was thinking Harrell would take Jay Crowder's starting position.
Dude,
I'd rather go.
the NBA
go
hates us now.
Batum.
Wait till we have Jay and
Yeah.
Trez on the same team, possibly. That it would be.
wish
I
we
feel
could
like the
get
power
Twins back.
forward position is like more like positionless, where it's like you got to be able to do everything. You got to be able to defend, shoot, be long, grab a
Yeah,
board.
you're right.
You know what I mean?
He might have
like
to get out
Trez-
against Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
Trez
Trez just don't fit that.
I look at him as like that backup dude that can come in for 20 to whatever minutes. Another name, free agent backup point guard, Dennis Schroeder. He's already played with OKC behind it.
Don't bring Dennis Schroeder anywhere over here.
I don't want to deal with that.
I'd rather bring back Rubio. I'd rather bring back a torn ACL Rubio.
Yeah, me too.
Was it an ACL or another knee thing?
Mhm.
I'll bring him back with his knees on substitution.
Why? So people can slack off and guard everybody else, and we still
No,
get no
Dennis
offense.
Schroeder just gets on my nerve. He reminds me of Patrick Beverly. He's just got a little bit. He has gotten quieter since he left the Lakers, but he reminds me of Patrick
When he
Beverly.
fumbled the bag.
Yeah, after he lost all that money, he shut his mouth.
Yeah, it'd be one of those like we're praying for the best kind of with Dennis Schroeder.
So-
like we're praying like
So
I feel like we've been down that hole too many times.
give
in
out a
some
bag to
sense.
Jalen Brunson then.
I'll do it. because that's a guy coming off the bench. You could start if CP3 gets hurt, and off the bench, that's 6 man.
No, I want Malik
Brunson's a
Monk.
bitch, though.
See,
Malik Monk.
now you're talking. Now you're talking about an underrated guy that's not going to cost us an arm and a leg that will show up bigger than his contract.
Right. Yeah.
Malik
There it
Monk,
is.
would be pretty solid.
I'd
There's
take
the
DeLon
offseason right
I'll
there.
take DeLon Wright over
Plus,
that dude.
plus that takes that campaign situation down a bit.
Man, I'd rather watch, hell yeah, Malik Monk than Cameron Payne. And they do the same thing, like both energy kind of guys. So it's just like, yeah.
I wish we
Hell
could get
yeah.
like Davion Mitchell.
Another dude for backup 4 would be like a Chris Boucher. I'd like to see a Chris Boucher coming in, but he's not going to be the. I mean,
You said
he's
backup?
he's a
Go
good
ahead.
3-point shooter. He takes 4 per game, and he shoots it at almost 40%. 6'9", 200 pounds, long length, a lot of defense, rebounder. I mean, that's a guy I could see potentially coming in a little bit more length. I mean, Serge Ibaka is one too, but he's up there in age.
Yeah.
There's
But-
options there.
Can we talk about Monty Williams? Because we're not going to let his ass off the hook. That's what we're not going to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all don't want to talk about Kevin Durant? Does anybody believe we're getting Kevin Durant?
Hell no.
I don't want him.
Why wouldn't you want him? I mean, I'll take
I mean,
him.
I wouldn't be mad. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, but I don't like who we got to give up for him, what he brings with him as far as baggage. You think we're getting jumped on now for
God,
losing?
no.
Wait till we lose with freaking Durant,
Hey,
boys.
I forgot about
Crazy.
this one. P-Dog's got a good point. Terrence Ross.
Terrence
I forgot about
Ross.
Terrence. I like Terrence Ross. I do like that.
Ooh.
Yes,
I like Gary.
y'all-
I like Gary
I don't-
Harris better.
He's not a free agent, though.
Did y'all
Terrence
see
Ross
what
is a free
Draymond Green say after the game?
Hell no, I
Nah.
didn't see that.
Because of the win, Draymond said, "This isn't the Phoenix Suns. You're no longer playing that.
Oh my
this
God.
is a championship level basketball."
Oh my God.
Terrence Ross is not a free agent. He's a free agent next year.
So we're not gonna talk about Monty. We gotta talk about.
No, hell no. Hell no.
We gotta talk
hell
about his
no.
punk butt.
Because I caught that way, and y'all, Coach and Jay know. I caught that like back in All-Star break. I was like, yo, like Monty is a little mental. Like mental Monty is definitely like his coaching is a little sus. I feel like we're winning now. We're winning 64 games, so it's just like it's all cool and dandy. But it's like, yo, like this is sus. Like his coaching is super sus. And here we are now.
He don't make changes. He didn't make one freaking change for any of the series. And then you know what's so bad about it is when he did play JaVale McGee and DeAndre Ayton together, we're so used to no change that the whole world was like, oh my God, look what he did. Oh my God. Like, that's how much he doesn't change his coaching style from game to game and series to series. That was very horrible.
My
After
question to
winning
y'all-
coach of the year.
Yeah, my question to y'all is to Jay and coaches, like, why are y'all so like he can do no wrong, or like why are you like I'm not going to challenge anything that like Coach Monty does? Is it because he's the coach of the year? Is it because he changed the culture? Is it because like you guys feel forever like indebted
Because
to him
up,
or something?
because up until
Oh,
these
you go.
4 games, he's pushed every other button correctly.
Mm.
Yeah, he had his flaws, but every coach will have their flaw. Every player will have their flaw. And he got us to a level as quickly as we did. And it was, yeah, James Jones, but it was his messages and all that, you know? And look where we came from and look where we are in 3 years with him as a coach. That until this series, he did everything right. I just don't think we had the length and the height to beat Giannis no matter what he tried to do last year. I just don't think that was possible in the way they were calling games, yada yada. But until now, he's done everything right. That's my opinion.
Monty Williams is a grade A car salesman, and he sold us like, and I feel like y'all, he sold y'all a lemon, and y'all like
Bernie
right
Mac
around.
from Transformers.
He's heating up.
Yeah, like yo, he's a grade A car salesman because like it's like the way that stuff is falling apart now. It's like because if you just look it up, it's just like the whole locker room is in shambles right now. Like everybody is mad at each other. Like the whole beefing is just like, well,
You
where's
should
all the
be.
Monty quotes
Because
now? Like
we were supposed to win a championship.
And they were down by almost 50.
And like this was the point I was getting into. Like I did admit like Monty fucked up this series. He didn't he made no changes and he refused to open up the playbook anymore, even though he's opened it throughout the season with other competitors. Like when we went against the Bucks the first time, he opened the playbook so much, and he just totally went away from that. He fucked up, but at the same time, we're in a position kind of like how like the Cardinals are in a sense. Like we haven't had this amount of success in a very long time, and we actually have something going on right now. And I feel like if we play our cards right and keep the ball rolling, like this can be a potential dynasty, like in the making. So if we keep on playing our cards right, we keep the best pieces and implement whatever we need to, we can keep this going. And obviously Monty's game plan and whatever he wants to do doesn't revolve around a dominant center. It just isn't, because he's had 3 seasons to use DA and he hasn't done it. So might as well get somebody in exchange that can actually create their own shot. That is big, like a Pascal Siakam. And if we don't want to go that route, we can get a center that isn't going to cost as much, but can do the same things as DA can, like a Mitchell Robinson or a Thomas Bryant. So it's scoring needs to be put on the outside, and James Jones slacked in that. He doesn't like messing with it, and I completely understand. It's very risky. He has a very risky job, but what Monty did was bullshit, 100%. He fucked up, but when it comes to X's and O's, I think he's second to none. He's one of the best in the league.
Jay Ness, I know you got to dip soon. I want to give you and Suns fan Randy our Jay Crowder replacement, who would be very cheap this year. Very cheap. To put it in perspective, oh no, I just had it. Hold on. Let me go back. Stupid computers. I just had Jay Crowder stats up and I wanted to read them to you. Roster. Don't forget, we've got Ife Lundberg coming next year. So maybe he's the answer to all of our problems. And also, before you leave, Ish Wainwright needs all of Torrey Craig's minutes that they were going to allot him, by the way. That needs to happen. Where the hell is Jay Crowder? Okay, Jay Crowder. These are his stats, and everybody knows he's the up and down dude, right? Averages 9.4 points per game and 35% 3-point shooting and only 5 rebounds a game, okay? So remember that. Remember 35% and 9.4%. This guy averages, in his 3rd year in the league, he's 24 years old. He's 6'8", 230. Jay Crowder is 6'6", 235. So we get a little bit more length. This guy's averaging 10 points a game and shooting 44.5% from 3, almost 70% from free throws. Rebounds 4.8 to 5.4. Plays 21 minutes a game. Jay Crowder, 28 minutes a game.
Who is that?
This guy's name is Isaiah Roby.
Oh, Roby.
Oklahoma.
Okay, see.
Oklahoma City.
I like Roby.
I like Roby. I like him.
I like
Cheaper,
Roby. I like
younger,
Sims too. That we talked
better
about
shooter.
earlier.
That's a guy that I look at. Like F. Torrey Craig. Like, dude, he's gone. You can build Wainwright up. You still
Robert
got Cam
Covington.
McHale. Even if you have Jay Crowder for one more year, get this guy, man. Get this guy. There's your under the radar signing that would pay huge dividends.
Well, before I leave, I do want to say what the Monty thing. The thing that sucked and pissed me off the absolute most is Monty didn't coach when it was time to coach.
Yes.
During the season,
Yep.
both these last 2 seasons, Monty didn't have to coach. The players coached themselves on the floor. The regular season was coached by Devin
I do not want
Booker.
Randall. Don't come in here with that shit.
Oh, Julius? What are they talking about? They talking about Julius? No,
Yeah.
we don't want no Julius Randle.
Yeah,
But Devin Booker and Chris Paul coached that team throughout the regular season. You can see it in so many different aspects of the game. Milwaukee Bucks came to town, and we looked at Monty Williams and said, "All right, coach, what's up?" He didn't have an answer. Dallas started fucking this Luka Magic carpet ride, we looked at coach and said, Monty, it's your second opportunity to coach. And coach didn't have an answer.
And if it wasn't for 41 points, the Clippers would have been. We might be talking about adding the Clippers in that conversation too.
Like Monty Williams failed us when it was time for him to do his job. Monty Williams has had the easiest ride of any coach in the NBA thus far this season and last season combined. And Coach, I know it's hard to hear, but he has, man. He has had the easiest ride. Think about this. Jay Crowder came on and enforced the attitude that he wanted to enforce on the floor. When we got Jay, he put the attitude on that. He put the toughness in the team. Then you had Chris. Chris piloted the Monty offense because Chris had already piloted that offense before. So Monty put him on the floor to put the offense into the game. Then you already had Devin. You got a young Mikal Bridges who turns into Defensive Player of the Year. Now your job just got even easier because you don't even have to scheme on defense. You say switch on everything and let Mikal guard the best person. Dude, he has had the easiest ride these last 2 years.
You didn't have to simplify it like that because that just made me mad. Because that was literally what he was telling him in the locker room. Like, yo, we're gonna switch everything, Mikal, you guard Luka, and they did that for every. Don't say that, man. Don't say that out loud.
That's exactly what he did.
You didn't have to say it out loud, man.
And when it was time for him to actually coach, he was dumbfounded. He didn't know what to do. We seen it twice.
So all of those games when we're down at halftime or down in the third quarter and we come roaring back in the fourth quarter, we make all these adjustments. That's the players did that. Book and CP did that.
Did you not? Did you not see it? Go ahead.
My bad. All we did was cut Chris Paul loose.
We did that literally almost 80% of the games this year that we won. We came out in the first quarter and imposed our will. We let them do whatever through the third or the second 2 quarters and then the fourth when we locked down. So it's like Monty would be like, all right, like it's time to all right, I'm sick of this. And he said that against New Orleans, like, all right, I'm getting sick of this. And that's probably what his pep talk was to those guys, where it's like, it's time to get serious. Yeah.
Right. That's what he
was like, wake up now. Like, all right. It's like, that's not coaching. You're just telling me to wake up. Like, what? It's like, come on, man. It is coaching, but it's not coaching.
And to second what Randy's saying, we had the number one offensive first quarter offensive score in the league and the number one fourth quarter offensive score in the league.
By design?
No. It's natural. It's natural. Chris Paul, close it out. Devin, you're the Energizer Bunny.
You carry us to the first quarter. And then so Dallas said, bet.
So they were put into positions to succeed.
I mean, if you want to take the coach's point of view, I mean, yeah. Coach put him in position to succeed.
He put him on the floor and told them what to run?
No. Have you watched our first quarters of the last week? I know you've been mad at us lately, but I know you've been watching us too. Devin Booker isolates the whole first quarter.
By design?
That's not coaching.
Is that coaching though?
You're making coaching. A coaching decision on what to do? Yeah.
All right, so are you a chef if you cook rice and chicken every day? If you cook rice and chicken Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you're saying you're a chef, are you a chef now? Are you now a chef?
Steve Nash running the pick and roll over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Is he? What do you call that then?
Hold on, coach.
That's a different conversation, though. That's not answering the question.
He did the same thing over and over again.
But Booker has always been a first quarter starter. Booker has always been that. And if you look at his existence in this league, Booker's always started hot in his first
quarter. I urge you, encourage, whatever words you want to use, go back and look at the teams. Mm-hmm. The year before when Ayton was a rookie. I urge you to watch those games. And then the year we had Rubio and Baines and Oubre, go and watch that very first game that we won against the Mavericks.
Yeah,
Go
no,
and
no, no.
watch
It's
that
a
game.
completely
Go.
night
It's
and day.
it,
But I just explained why.
He
We
just
went
put
and-
a system in place, and then he was like, "All right, you guys go do it." And I'm not gonna.
that's
But
what
is
his coach
that
is
coach?
supposed to do.
No, but
So
coach,
That's what
you're
the players are
you're not supposed
supposed
to
to
make adjustments. You're not supposed to watch the game. You're not supposed
I'm
to be
not
like,
saying
okay,
that.
like,
We're not talking about that. I completely agree. He did not make adjustments. I've been saying that like 100%. He didn't make adjustments. But I think what you guys are making him out to be is a little bit more. And I'm kind of taking the DeAndre Ayton stance that JJ took a little while ago. I'm defending him because of all that he has done for us. Yes, is he slow to adjust on everything? That's his downfall. But we can
I
talk
think
about
what-
Jason Kidd's downfall. We can talk about Steve Kerr too.
Yeah,
Steve Kerr.
that's
you
what
want
I
to
was
talk
about to
about a
say.
coach that you want to talk about a coach
That's
that
what
had
I
an
was-
easy
yeah.
ride? Steve Kerr.
oh yeah,
Look at Luke Walton. Luke Walton had an easy ride, and he got two
And he
jobs
blew-
off
and
of
he
it.
blew it.
Shit,
no,
he
but
got two jobs off of that easy job.
I get what you I get, and it may have came out that way. I'm not saying. Okay, let me define exactly what I'm saying to you. What
Weren't
I'm
you
saying
supposed to go like
you
15
is,
minutes ago. What
yes, I
time
was,
that at?
but we got stuck. We got stuck on this Monty thing. I had to get it out. But I'm not saying that Monty came here with the plan. His plan was to implement his system into here and change the culture. That's why what I led with was he went out and got Jay Crowder to put that physicality on the court. Okay, because you can't really teach physicality. You got to kind of get that in, built into the system. It has to be something that you guys all buy into. Then you already had Devin, who's going to shoot the lights out. He's going to be your motor. You already had a motor. Then you went out and got Chris Paul because he knew he was the motherboard that already knew how to run the system. So you went out and put him on the court. Now he's going to run the system for you. He already knows the whole system. It was easy. And DeAndre really made his job a lot easier too, because DeAndre was going to stand at the top. He's going to do his thing. He's not going to give you much else. You know where he's going to be. I don't know, man. It was a very cookie cutter offense.
man, look, are you a teacher? Are you a good teacher if I write on the board how to solve a problem, like, right? If I show you an example of how to solve a problem and I give you the worksheet and say, all right, now you guys figure it out. Like you work. Now I give you guys a worksheet to fill it out. Are you a good teacher?
No.
But for that teacher to hand out a worksheet, you got to learn it before.
I put it on the board. This is how you solve this problem.
Yeah,
and then I
that's
hand it
coaching.
and I pass out papers and say, all right, everybody, now let everybody solve it. I showed you how to do it right there.
And P-Dog, no. And as a motivation guy, Monty's one of the best out there.
Yes,
It's
I'll give him that.
motivating and being positive and drilling those type of things and characteristics into his players. But coaching, that could be an assistant coach. Coaching is what we ran into with the Bucks when we didn't see no changes.
But
What we ran into Dallas and we didn't see no changes. That's what's going to make a superior coach.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I don't think what Jason Kidd was doing out there was any type of coaching, because he just kept doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and that worked. You know
But
what I
he
mean?
Because he knew that he
figured
wasn't
out-
going to make adjustments.
But he did
Right.
figure out what to do, though. He figured out, screen it. They're not going to make this adjustment. Get either DA out here on an island or post up
And-
Chris.
And this,
And then
and
we're
this
going
is-
to double Devin Booker as soon as he crosses half court, and especially in the first quarter, because we know that he's going to go off in the first. So every time he crossed the half court line, you've seen Dorian Finney-Smith or Reggie Bullock showing or being ready to double at all times. And then even when they tried to switch and get a mismatch on Luka, they were down switching to get Luka staying on
There
Jay
was-
Crowder.
And
Like,
there was
every time.
everything that could go wrong did go wrong for this team. Campaign not being able to play like Campaign did last year and in the bubble, I think totally threw this whole team off.
Yeah.
We couldn't run the normal stuff that we were able to. Cam Johnson deteriorating, Mikal Bridges losing whatever mojo that he had, JaVale not being able to play on the court, to Jay Crowder all of a sudden getting hot when he couldn't hit a
1
damn
for
thing.
5 like 2
Yeah.
games in a row, and then
And then Booker not being the killer that he was and being able to do things. DA not being aggressive enough that to notice that he's getting double teamed and go to a place where he can get the ball. But then the thing that I don't understand the most is the Monty situation, because you look through the season, you look at the different variants of plays from the elbow, from the lower block all the way to the corner. You look at the different types of motion that we had, and we did none of that. So it was like literally everybody did everything the worst case possible from the top down. I mean, I think we've discussed it. We discussed what Chris Paul did. We discussed what DA did. We've discussed Shamet, Payne, Torrey Craig, and now we're on to Monty. And we don't have time for James Jones right now. We're going to have plenty of time later on to talk about that stuff.
I'm out of
Jay
here.
Ness,
guys.
thank you so much for coming in.
Sure.
We'll
Thanks,
be in
Ness.
touch. And I wish it was under better circumstances, but be well.
Yes, sir.
Nice having it.
We've done they just did everything wrong from top to bottom. DA is the one that I want to pick on because I noticed it the most. Monty's the one I don't want to pick on because I actually do sympathize with his story and all that. Maybe I do need to be more critical about Monty moving forward, and I think I'm definitely am. I mean, substitution patterns were something we talked about all year long with that, but we thought we could just get away with it and roll on with it. It was fine. The lack of adjusting for the last 2 years to the lack of rebounding is atrocious. That has to be considered too. You got to look at the poor off-ball, weak side rebounding, defensive rebounding, the blocking out, all that shit. And then what about all of us talking shit? All of us, all the fans in the chat right here, all the fans in the stadiums, players talking shit over and over and over and over and over. I think that played a part in it too. It was online with fucking Money Guy last year.
Yeah.
Everything that everybody was throwing. I deserve the criticism. We deserve the smoke. You know what? Yeah, I've said it right after we lost. We've been humbled. I've been humbled. You know, and I'm sorry for talking shit for this being our best team ever when we have one professional sporting championship in the Diamondbacks in 2001. That's our only one. So excuse me when we actually have a team that is good that I do talk shit. Like, God forbid. Look at Lakers fans every year. Look at Warriors fans, Yankees fans. I don't even need to go into Eagles fans and Cowboys fans, et cetera, when they're just dog water every single year. This was our year. Don't blame us for talking shit when everybody beat on us for 10 or 11 years and you can't anymore. We were good this year. I don't know if I feel like we weren't frauds, because 90 games said we weren't frauds this year and last year's run. That said we weren't frauds. I think there is more to this story than any of us have even talked about. And there's two sides to every story. The truth is in the middle, right? There's things DA did wrong. There's things that management did wrong. There's things that coaches did wrong. There's things that Book and CP did wrong. And the truth is in the middle. I hope we find out. It feels like we're getting just little tidbits. Like every single day, something new is coming out. So I'm looking forward to what's coming back tomorrow. But this was our chance. And for everybody to attack the Suns the way they did after being good for 2 years, y'all soft as fuck. We didn't buy a championship. Most of these dudes are homegrown. You laughed at us when we lose by 46 points or 50 points in the opening night in 2017 or 18 to the Blazers.
Right.
You joke at us. You got Draymond Green going on saying, get Book out of there. He's trash. He's garbage. Booker comes out with a commercial saying it's only crazy until you do it when he talks in regards to winning a championship in Phoenix. There's all this shit. Everybody laughed at us for years. Excuse us for talking shit back to you one time for 1 year, and y'all couldn't deal with it. But we have to put up with it for 10, 11, 12 years and now go through this? Y'all are trash on Twitter. Y'all are fucking garbage. And that's facts. We don't have any championships. Y'all are supposed to root for the underdog. We root for the underdog in every single NCAA tournament. Who didn't root for St. Peter's? Show yourself. Truly tell me you didn't root for St. Peter's. George Washington back in 2006 as the 13th seed that made the Final Four.
My question to you guys is: do you think that Patrick Beverly on ESPN was a premeditated thing? Like, yo, it didn't make any sense to me. Like, how fast
Why
he was up
him?
there. Yeah, like
Why
why him?
him?
Like, why the next day?
Yep.
Like right after we lose, all of a
What
sudden
Jay
Patrick
Ness said.
Beverly.
This shit's scripted,
Seemed
man.
like a
This shit's-
script, yeah.
This shit's scripted. This shit is scripted.
Like, yo.
Fuck Patrick Beverly. I'm so sick of hearing him talk.
Come on, man. And
like
thank
Chris
God for
Paul
Matt
should have
Barnes.
said. Yeah. Oh yeah. Shout out Matt Barnes for actually being a man, and shout out Dame for calling Pat Bev out too on Twitter.
And Danny Green. And Danny Green.
And if Danny Green is talking shit back to you, Beth, you might want to shut the fuck up. Just because, like, y'all are kind of like on the same level when it comes to defense. You know, like, so I was like Ben needs to like he's borderline Shanghai Shark. I said that on Twitter.
Facts. He got
And
traded
he
twice in
was-
the offseason.
He was like he did play in China. Like Beth had a great story, great comeback and stuff. His arrogance makes it sound like he's fucking Jordan out there. I can't stand this guy. Like, and Evan, you're 150% right about it. Just the overall hate that we get. It's crazy because people say like, oh man, like I don't like Book to begin with. Now you have Chris CP0 on your team and shit. It's all like
where's this coming from?
I know it's like we were asked for so long, and now it's sort of like overnight in a sense. We're one of the best teams in the league, and you want to bitch about it.
We've never won a championship. Like, what's the big deal?
And
Why
I'm
can't
like, you're a Lakers fan talking shit. Like,
I mean, y'all remember when CP
without Chris?
Y'all remember when CP was on the Clippers? How much national media love did he get on the Clippers, y'all? Every night it was Lob City. Every night. And now all of a sudden everybody hates him?
Yeah.
My thing with that, go ahead.
And then like Chris Paul gets all this shit, and they're like, "Oh, he's blown like all these leads and stuff." But there's context with everything. Like if you go back,
Doc
like
Rivers, first off.
half of that shit wasn't even his fault. Like two of those blown leads, he was in New Orleans when no one was around him. Houston, he pulled his hammy, and James Harden couldn't hold it down for.
And they went 3 for 41 or something one game
with threes.
For threes. But sure, that's Chris Paul's fault. Go ahead, Randy.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I was just about to say, man, like the part about it that was so crazy to me was just like, yo, we've been craving like the national I'll speak for myself. We've been craving like the national media like attention for like years. And then the moment we lose, then all of a sudden we can't I literally cannot even cut on ESPN or like Fox Sports. And it's just like, yo, like I can't escape it. Like everybody is talking about the Suns. But when we won 18 straight games, nobody said nothing. When we had the best record in the league, nobody said nothing. And it's just like, yo, like this is so crazy how the game is. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly. And you got Freddie up in here being like, "Oh, Suns downfall, ha ha ha." It's like you have 16 championships. What are you even bitching about to another team? Like, how could you even possibly look at another team again? You know what I mean? Like, I would care less if New Orleans won then. You know what? If I've got 16 championships under my belt,
know, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Especially if you got a chip like 2 years ago.
Like give me a break. Like, dude. Y'all are sorry. Y'all are weak then. If that's what you go to. You know, we're the ones that hate on the super teams because they never come to Phoenix, right? We're the ones that hate on the big market teams, similar to Indiana when they hated the Knicks back in the day. It just is what it is. We are going on 2 hours here. We've talked about DeAndre Ayton for Bradley Beal. We don't think KD is coming. I think all of us want to see DA back. I legitimately wonder if it's irreparable. I'm curious to see what comes out in the coming weeks. Mavs losing was, whatever. The Heat game, Eastern Conference Finals or whatever. U.S. Open, that's cool. We got that coming up. Not much going on with the Cardinals. D-backs losing 6 in a row. On brand.
Let me ask you this.
Awesome.
Let me ask you this with regards to this DA situation. Like, because the reason why I didn't look into it too much is how much of it do you think is like a PR thing, like a negotiation tactic by the Suns? Because it's just like, It's just so happens that when we're in contract negotiations, now all of a sudden all these reports are coming out about his laziness and his lack of commitment and all this other stuff. So you don't think that it sounds like a little bit of like they're trying to throw stuff out there, throw stories out there to like kind of win the court
they
of public
wouldn't.
opinion?
I don't think so. I don't think they would want
every
to
team does
tarnish that reputation, because that makes his trade value even worse, though.
I mean,
So
but if we don't want to trade him, but we don't want to pay him, I feel like that makes sense for the Suns.
I do know this. I do know for a fact, because I've spoken and currently work with people that have worked with the Jazz in the front office like 10, 12 years ago. But they have stories about front offices and stuff. I can tell you this. They're not as smart as you think. That's what I've just kind of learned. They're just like everyday people, and they're just like, oh, I don't know. Like I sometimes we overanalyze it.
Okay.
It's possible. I don't know, but we're gonna take off here. I guess go check out the D-backs. That's cool. Next week, or actually this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Here's something for you ASU fans. Arizona State softball's leading their regional #1 seed. Woo, that's cool. What else? Next week we got the Pac-12 baseball tournament. Arizona State's the 6th seed. Can't even be a 500 baseball school. I already said the D-backs, U.S. Open. Major League Soccer fans out there, I do follow a little bit of Real Salt Lake because I do like to have a little bit of soccer. World Cup's not until November. This is going to be a pretty shitty kind of 3 months here. We are going to have another show. I want to do one this Sunday, but after that, we are going to go weekly. We're not going to be going twice a week until football season starts up. Once that's back, we'll go back to our regular Sunday and Wednesday. I'm not sure if we're going to do it on Wednesdays or if we're going to do it on Sundays right now, but I will let you know. Either way, we will have a show this Sunday so that we can air out any more grievances and just kind of see what happens in the coming days here. Real quick before we sign out, you guys got anything you want to put out there?
What about you, Rand?
Magic got the #1 pick. We don't have any picks in the draft, but that's about it.
That's cool.
This draft is kind of weak. Suns fans, this is going to be an interesting summer. I think this is going to either be the start of I think this team has a potential to be a dynasty going forward. We just got to tighten up some loose ends and figure some things out. If James Jones is as good as he is, he'll take care of it. And we just got to put trust in what he's done, because he's been nothing but dubs. He puts the team together and he gives the keys to Monty, and he needs to figure it out. So let James Jones do what he needs to do. And let's just hope that Monty can figure some things out and we can actually get some on this team going forward. Cardinals, we saw the schedule. The schedule's pretty tough.
Ooh, brutal.
It's brutal. Yeah, it's a brutal first 6 weeks without D-Hop. But if it's anything like last year, start out strong, and maybe some changes. I'm excited for this Cardinal season, but it's definitely going to take a toll on me. If we go 4-2, I'm cool with that. 3-3 even. I'm just trying to think of as positive as possible. But yeah, with doing the one main show a week, we've talked about a couple times. Me and Amit have talked about starting our little branch off show on the same channel. Since sports is going to be pretty dry, we're going to be talking about movies, TV shows, whatever's going on in the world. Amit's into climate change and shit like that, so we can get into stuff like that. We're going to keep pumping out the content as much as possible, whatever we can give you guys to keep you all satisfied and hopefully build this even further. But we appreciate you guys following us throughout the season. It's definitely been a journey, and Randy joining us too midway through the season has been great, having another voice on, and then we've created a lot of stronger relationships with guys from Suns Jam and Fanning the Flames and so on and so forth with all those guys. And
Dan
Bo
Duarte,
Brock,
yeah.
Dan Duarte, Bo Brock, and Alex Clancy. And we'll get Johnny Venerable on
he'll come
sometime during the Cardinals season. And hopefully we can get more people on. But yeah, all the support that we've gotten from you guys this season has been great. And I love talking about it and being here every week. So we'll definitely keep giving you guys the content going forward. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Everybody, please like this out, share it. Our audio listeners, we've been making big moves on that. I really appreciate you. Please go check us out on Google Playlists, Apple Podcasts, and all that fun stuff. Anchor, if you want to donate, please donate to our Anchor account if you so choose to. It actually costs me money to run this podcast, so would appreciate any help and support that anybody could give as well too. Randy, I don't know if I've expressed this enough. I've loved having you come on. I loved your different types of perspective, and I love what you're doing on over the Stay Off My Grass podcast. Watch those. I didn't watch those during the losses on the playoffs. But I just couldn't.
I couldn't.
No, couldn't do it. I was too invested in this. Before you give your plug, I just want to say one more thing. John Gambador said it kind of perfectly. He's like the only time I'm gonna give him props. This felt like you were invested into like a series. I don't know if anybody was in the Game of Thrones or anything like that, and then the series ended, and it ended poorly. He chose not Survivor, maybe Lost. It was Lost. And I look at like Game of Thrones, how we were so invested into it, and there was a culture, and there's the books about it. Everybody wanted to dress up, the cosplay, and all that fun stuff. And then it was like the worst final season and the worst final show ever. You were so invested in it, you loved it, and then it just completely let you down. And that's what this Suns team did. I've never seen a team let us down like that, and that sucked. Randy, give us a plug where everybody can find you, man, please. And what are you going to be doing during the off season since you don't have games to do post stuff anymore?
Yeah, man. So I'm going to be on YouTube, Stay Off My Grass podcast, on Apple Pods, on TikTok and Twitter at Stay Off My Grass or Off My Grass Pod. I'm going to be covering the NBA. I might just dive into the finals. I don't know if I'm going to dive into these Eastern and Western Conference finals games. But, I might dive into the finals and just get a breakdowns on that. So, and then also my brother's a Laker fan. He was talking about coming on here. So maybe during the off season, we could, have a good little,
let's get him on
back and forth. And
so we can bag his team. I'm all for that.
So yeah, man. So I'll be over there. But for me, I feel like this season though, it felt like I've never been cheated on before, but it definitely felt like I got cheated on and it hurt so bad just because it was like,
I really thought she was the one. That's what it felt like. It felt like.
It felt like she was the one. Like this team was the one. You know what I'm saying? And we went out talking, telling our whole family, like, yo, like I'm about to marry this chick. She about to get us a ring. And it's just like, yo, what the hell just happened? Like
what it felt like for me was like you gave in to like the hoe that everybody knows. And then when she does some miscellaneous shit, you're like, ah, damn it. Like
everybody told me. Everybody told me.
That's what it felt like for me.
Yeah, cheated on. Ahmet put it kind of nice in the text. I don't know if it was that Sunday night or if it was the next day, but he said, "Feels like we lost a family member." I was like,
"Oh yeah, definitely felt like that."
I know we all did. I think personally, I put a lot into this. There was times where I didn't go to a family function because I wanted to watch this game because this was that team. There were times like I would have gotten into an argument. It was like, no, I want to watch this. You don't understand. And, things just happen. And there were some personal relationships I got to mend a little bit because of this. Like there was just a few things that I chose to watch this team as opposed to doing some other things. I don't think I'm going to make that mistake again. It definitely taught me to not get as invested as I did, but I thought if there was any team, this was it. So maybe that's my bad too. But everybody, thank you again for coming out, showing the support. We are going to keep on keeping on, bring you up to date as much as possible. Anything big that does go on in the off season, I want to do an immediate podcast. I'd love to do something on the draft. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff. And I am actually going to introduce a series that I've been wanting to do where I'm going to bring on some old heads like myself, and we're going to talk about some of the old teams and really dive in deep to some of the things I used to love. But everybody, thank you again for coming on to He's on Fire podcast. I just want to drop this intro because we do have the best intro of any Nick Sports podcast. we do. We have the best song and the best highlights for it. So you want some positivity? Watch some of this stuff. Step the Valley, man. Fuck.
Urkavici sets. Looks up. And it is caught. Dylan Strong. Blitz coming. Matthews. Palmer extending the play. Crosses the field. Larry Fitzgerald.
There he scores. It's over.
It's insane. To the 4-yard line. Crowder looking. Throws it. Alley. Oh! He puts it down. He puts it down. They're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia just out.